Okay, so 628 on the 4th, which has 2468. They're just all not arranged properly. But today's Wednesday, and man, I do not feel good at all. It seemed like I was feeling it, and I had crazy dreams again last night. So crazy. I can't remember them though, but oh my god, it was crazy. And I thought I would remember them, but I can't. Can't recall them. But the uh anyways, when I woke up though, I was feeling okay, but then as I've been up, I just keep getting this headache. It just keeps getting I don't know, worse and worse, and I'm feeling so exhausted. Like I just need to go back to sleep. And I really need to go get water and get some more chicken today. And tomorrow Max has another vet appointment. I keep trying to think, well, do I just wait and go get it? But I got to get some meat for him to eat. And oh my god, anything he eats that is any kind of liquid or anything, oh my god, it is so messy. He makes the biggest mess. The only thing he doesn't make a huge mess with is like chicken, just pieces of chicken. It's way less of a mess. But he has a new thing going on that is so weird. It's really weirding me out. At first, when I had first noticed, I mean, he's shrinking for sure. I mean, he's so skinny looking. And when I had first got him, he was pretty skinny, but he, was coming off the streets. So I thought, and then when he was eating the food and he would regurgitate it, I thought, well, is anxiety, or he's just not used to eating, or I need to cut back on the food, not give him as much, stuff like that. But then he gained weight and he was looking good. But he's always had this weird bark. He's always had the regurgitation. So he's had whatever's going on for a long time, ever since I got him. And so then it's gotten worse and worse and worse. And I guess that's probably what caused the tonsils to get swollen. So he's got the swollen tonsils plus, and I don't know if they're still swollen, I'm just guessing, but plus the paralysis or something in his esophagus, plus it seems like maybe something with his muscles too, which could have to do with neurological disorder. But when it first was happening, I thought, well, he's just losing so much weight that his face is looking really skinny. But so I've been paying attention, but it's not just like his face, because he was kind of what is that, a pug mix. So he had a rounder head. So his head was like round, and then he had this short little snout thing. And his isn't even that short, but it's not long like a regular dog's. It's definitely more shorter. But he had a very round head, and then he has these two little tiny ears. And they aren't cropped or anything, but they are just, he just has two little ears. And so he doesn't have big floppy ones or whatever. He's kind of unusual looking just anyways. But but he has these big, beautiful brown eyes, and he's just got this really sweet, gentle soul. So, anyways, I've been paying attention to, because he kept looking weird. He kept being like, man, what is going on? He looks so weird. It's like he's losing so much weight in his face, but it's not. So in between, so his ears are like right here, and his snout is like right here. So he's got these big brown eyes right here. And then this space right here. So between his ears and his eye bone, that it is sunk in on both sides, deeply sunk in, like that, on both sides. And so it was like, and it just like, you can just see like this bone right here, and then this is like mushed in, and then everything on him looks really skinny. His legs, everything, he looks really skinny. But this part was kind of like, what the hell? Is his brain shrinking? Like, what is happening? And is it like his skull? It's like his skull is sinking in or something, because it's sticking up here. So I was looking it up, and I was like, what does it mean when your dog's head, it looks like it's shrinking? And it said, that's where I was looking. Oh yeah, I have my phone right here. always like, I'll tell you what it says. Because it's weird. See, I feel really weird, like hot too. Like I feel weird. And it's probably the energy thing, because the planet, the energy is intense, man. Like I got people are like, oh my God, I'm having so much anxiety, I can't handle it. And I keep being, it's just energy on the planet. But people are just like, man, what is going on? And then all the big show too. Everything's such a big show. We got Hillary's thing is such a show. And now Brock is getting an attorney or something. It's like, it's so weird too, because these people are gone. And then this Hillary boy, she's really going for an Academy Award in her performance. But I had heard years ago that even the clones and the stand-ins were getting, because they participated. So I don't know. So it says a sunken look. I swear to God, it said something bigger. Is this the right thing? Well, it says a sunken-looking skull in the dogs often indicates serious, potentially neurological issues. See, he's already got neurological. Like muscle atrophy, nerve damage, or chronic illness. So, yeah, when I called yesterday and I said, something weird is going on. It looks like his skull is shrinking. It looks like it's sinking in. And she put me on hold. Usually they're like, okay, well, we'll call you back. And then they call you back at the end of the day. But she said, okay, hold on. And then she went and talked to the doctor. And then she came back and said she wants you to bring him back in. Or he wants you to bring him back in. And my first appointment is Thursday at 1 o'clock. So we're going back again. But possible causes include masticatory muscle myositis. So masticatory muscle myositis, muscle shrinkage. So it has something to do with that. And it says down here, in muscle atrophy, a significant decrease in muscle mass at the top of the head can make the skull appear sunken, commonly associated with masticatory muscle myositis, a condition where the immune system attacks the chewing muscles. So then I was like, oh my gosh, he's got because it makes such a mess when he tries to eat and drink. It's really sad too, because he still seems to have like a little bit of a zest for life. Like he sleeps a lot, but he still gets excited about things. He gets excited about eating, I'll tell you that. He always acts like he's about to die of starvation, but he looks like he is. And then it says neurological condition, damage to nerves such as the trigeminal nerve can lead to muscle loss. So it wasn't in my imagination. He really is. And it looks so weird. It looks kind of like if you've ever seen that disorder, like I think that person, I don't know, there's probably more than one, but I know one of them ended up being an actor, being used in movies. And I think in Ryan Murphy's one Freak Show, and then also in Asylum, but Pinhead. So that's what he's kind of looking like right now. Like in the thing is like this is like missing all this. So it's like a face with this tiny little cap on it. But except for he also has this kind of just jolts up a little bit. But yeah, he looks very much like he doesn't have a brain. So it looks really weird. And so I don't know what the vet's going to say now. But he definitely seems like, whatever he's got, it's just progressing. It's so weird, too, because you go and people keep saying, well, but you got to have a couple of good years living with you and stuff like that. And I know that that's true, because I had to really go through that with Morty, too. I was like, why? Oh, my God, this is horrible. And then, and he was only with me for a week. But then that was the message I got then, too, was that to come to a place, it's going to make me cry. you know, where it's safe and you're taken care of in your last bit of time. So, anyways, I don't know. When I talked to my brother the other day, he brought it up, and I think I think he knows that Max is sick, but also, you know, Stella's getting up there in age. But I keep trying all different things for her. I just ordered some NAD. It's got a whole bunch of stuff, so I'm going to see what difference that makes. And I'm really hopeful for this med bed thing, but sometimes it just seems like the line just keeps moving and moving and moving. And I don't know that Max would make it till then. But Stella isn't. I mean, Stella gets whiny, but I know it's because she's got arthritis and her hips hurt. And so I know that her whining, but it's not like deathly. Like she doesn't have anything that's like, you know, he's got something serious. And, but my brother had brought up about on the property to figure out a place where if I wanted to make a cemetery, and we'll make a whole little thing and it'll be really cool and cute and stuff. Because, and then he'll have to get a backhoe, he said, especially for Stella. But yeah, we'll have a whole burial thing. And I said, well, I would prefer to be buried there too. And so I was telling him about the whole thing about why people quit burying their people on their property, because the government wanted, because if you have burial on your property, that they can't take your property and they can't tax you or something. There's a whole thing about it. And that's why they started trying to get us to bury our people out somewhere else. And then it's even gone to the next level of, how about we just use them as fertilizer? How about that? So it's like so many people are like, here, notice how many people I keep saying are dying, but what's going on with the cemetery? Where are they putting all these people? Which I know a lot of people do choose cremation because of the cost, but there is still people who are burying people. And then I've seen the grave diggers saying that there's weird stuff going on. And so they could be putting, I mean, I've heard there's empty coffins. I've heard that they are putting different coffins than what they are showing the people. I've heard a lot of different things. All I know is everything's a big scam. Every freaking thing's a big scam. Even on this Jim Carrey thing, I feel like it is partly to show us what a big scam. Because I swear to God, I just feel like nobody can convince me that was him at that award thing. Even when he went to was it Nickelback or Soundgarden? I think it was Soundgarden. Their thing to the Hall of Fame or whatever. And he looked so weird. And people weren't talking as much about it at that one. And I don't know if less people saw about it or something. But I had seen a whole bunch of videos of it. And they kept showing videos of him and what's her name, Tyler Momsen, and talking about the Grinch and reuniting and all this stuff. And I kept being like, man, he looks weird. He looks kind of like Mickey Rourke did after his surgery. And I was like, that, man, he just looks weird. And in me thinking like, I think he's not somebody who would go get fillers and get work done. That's my vibe that I pick up off of him. All these other people, think what you want. I really don't care. Because these people are all just like, the stuff that people say, it's just like, oh my God. Because this is still going. This just keeps going. There's more videos coming. More. I can't believe the amount of videos that just keep coming and coming and coming. Like now my YouTube, every time I go on there, there's like all these and the girl who made the whole thing about that she talked to him and he died of cancer a few years back with his family around him, all that stuff. She's been talking to his dead self. She's made it to YouTube now, so she's out there too. So that video I saw this morning on YouTube. And then there's tons of these AI ones where they're saying it's him and he's telling why, he looks different. And that's really him and stuff. And now his manager team or whatever has come out and said, oh, no, that's really him. He was real excited about that. And he practiced for months. They all keep saying the same thing. Oh, he was so excited about it. Him being excited about, I mean, he got the award, what was it? The Charlie Chaplin Award of Lifetime Achievement or something like that. And I think he was more excited about that one. I don't know. I don't think he gets that excited like what they're trying to make like, oh, he was just so excited. I don't think he's that excited about all that kind of award show things. I think he kind of said, and even at the Charlie Chaplin one, I'm pretty sure that's the one where he comes out and he starts talking about a good nation doesn't kidnap kids or something. So anyways, he would always make a stand on something when he got the stage. He was always saying stuff. So now this new one is like an industry dream come true, which, you know, he was going against the industry for so long. So it just is, the whole thing's weird. And then so now you have the guy who did the show. Oh no, it's him. He was very excited. And you got his management team. Oh no, it was him. He was very excited. He had all his family, everybody there. And then, but the other thing too is he looks shorter. He looks shorter and his clothes are too big. And he's very like dashing. He's very what is that? Wardrobe conscious. Like he seems like he's into clothes. And he I don't think he would just go in, you know, this big thing he's so excited about and wear some ill-fitting suit. And then the weird thing is like when you see him so many times in places like the one where what's his name? That comedian that did the interviews driving in the car. He used to have a show, Seinfeld. Whatever, Jerry Seinfeld. So that fella, and when he did the interview with him, and they went to a coffee shop or something, and then people, of course, recognized him and started coming up to him and stuff. But he always looks like he's taller than everybody, even when they get footage of him coming out of someplace, and the people around him, he always looks like he's like tall and thin and lanky looking, compared to all of the people around. So he's always looks like his head's above everybody else, kind of. And in his, you know, the height they give him online says 6'2". And then on Sonic stuff, he was, when they have him all standing on the stage and stuff, it seems like, because I always thought Keanu was like shorter, but supposedly he's like 6 foot. And then what's his name? I can't think of his name, but the Sonic character voice, he's tall. But so he's always like up in height with them. And then, but this thing, like if you see him, they keep showing footage of him walking and walking with people and being interviewed and all this stuff. And he's shorter. He's not standing taller than everybody. He seems shorter, and he seems like his suit doesn't fit. And it just is like the same stuff they did with Joe. You know, it was like they kept changing his height. And it was like people didn't even notice. And so that's what it seems like is going on here. It's like they're changing his height or something. They're changing these things. And you still have these people who just keep on writing off, oh, well, he just got work done. That's just what they do. He's got work done. And, which I was thinking about Heather Shaw this morning and her anger about the whole thing and being so mad at the conspiracy theorists and stuff. I was thinking maybe she's really upset because now what's she going to do? Like, he doesn't look the same. You'd think she would be more worried that he did look like he had got botched plastic surgery, like she said, instead of thinking like, oh no, he probably looks the same. He's probably just, you know, was busy and sent somebody else out to do it in a mask, whatever. And because like, what's gonna happen to your career when your whole career is based on being his lookalike? So I don't know. It's just like everything seems so weird. And so, anyways, I was thinking, well, maybe that's why she's mad. Is because like Now she's like, well, what am I going to do? I have to get botched surgery so I can keep looking like him. So anyways, I don't know. The whole thing seems weird. Everything seems weird. But yeah, I don't care if they keep having all these people. To me, it seems like that the thing we're supposed to see is how really big the lies are. That how big, like all these people will lie or just say whatever. So I don't know. But I'm definitely not going to be convinced. And then I don't know about the whole thing with the 2027, the video thing where it came out and said, "Have I got your attention now?" It seemed legit to me and it made sense. But there hasn't been anything else, though. And there's so many people who keep making these AI videos. So who knows, man? Who knows what's going on? But to me, it definitely seems that the story's bigger than what we are seeing. That there's something more to it, something we're supposed to see. So, I don't know. It'll be an interesting one to watch play out. But, yeah, it's like they just want everybody just shut up about it. His manager said so. These people, you guys don't trust your eyes and don't trust your senses. Listen to us. Listen to us. It's like, well, no. I think I'll trust my senses. That guy's not him. So, he doesn't talk like him. He doesn't look like him. He doesn't walk like him. He doesn't act like him. It's like, so I'll go with that. Everybody else can do what they want. Oh, he changed his personality. He got real excited now. And he's like, okay, believe what you want. And then also the Shia LaBeouf thing. That seems to be, and I'm not sure, what his involvement in the whole disclosure is, but it seems that he has some type of role because so many people have been listening to his thing and it's had the effect he's had on people. Now he's got all these girls who are madly in love with him. Like video after video, girls are like, "Oh, I don't like all men. I don't like any man except Shia." So they all love him, and they keep showing all these pictures of him and stuff where he does look good, and but he's troubled. But I think, the whole thing is like we all are troubled, but we got to work on ourselves. And all these girls are like, I'll help him. I'll fix him. I'll save him. It's like, girls, oh, come on. Let him fix himself. And it's like, what in the desperation we have going out here? Yeah, I'll take him on. He's good looking. So I'll take on it. It's like, okay, so you do realize you're creating your own drama, right? Because the woman he was married to, she was getting knocked around, I guess, quite a bit. And then she wouldn't leave, and she wouldn't leave no matter how much he was cheating and knocking her around and stuff. But then when she finally did leave, it was because he started going in on their little kid, their toddler. And so that's why she left last year, supposedly. And so whatever, that kind of stuff, puts you into a deeper kind of reflection, a reflective time of really looking at your own behavior and stuff. And I don't know how much he's gone out and gotten drunk, but I definitely think that it is a step up to not just blame your behavior on your drunkenness and to start really trying to get to the core of your wounds and trying to understand yourself. I think it has a significance, the fact that he's a child actor. And I looked it up, and so Even Stevens was on Disney. So it wasn't Nickelodeon, it was on Disney. But apparently Disney is as bad as Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon has the documentary on Netflix showing how bad it was for all those kids. And so many people, when that came out, were troubled. Wow, man, that was a big wave of trouble through our collective over an acknowledgement to what really goes on in Hollywood for the kids. So, but Chris was saying that Disney is really bad. And so some people have heard about Disney being so bad for those kids. But no matter what, the kid actors, like every time I even watch a movie anymore and they bring in kid actors, it's like, all I can think about is like that cold call and bringing in the kids. And how many of them, these pervy manager and agents and stuff, are all out there perving, trying to tell them, hey, yeah, we'll get you work and stuff. And then all they're doing is, it's like a fishing, what are those things called? When they have a big fishing expedition thing. I was in Mexico one time when they had one, and it's all these rich people come out and do this big deep sea fishing thing all together, and then they come back, and it's whoever has the biggest fish wins this like $25,000 or something. I don't know how much they pay to be a part of it, but so it's but that's kind of what it reminds me of, is like a fishing kind of thing. Let's do a movie and cold call these kids to come out to audition, and then we get a whole new set of them. And then another thing about him is he comes from a troubled background, and there was a movie he did to show the troubled background he had. There was something about with his dad. I don't know if his dad, I don't remember now. I saw it a long time ago, and it was like, oh wow, sad. But that was before I even knew how bad it was on the actors, with all the agents, the producers, the directors, all these pervs. Because I totally think that the Touching His Life, which now they have a whole new thing that's come out off of the Monarch, now they've got the Artichoke or something, and so all these files have been released and what they were doing, and so I can't remember. I think when they started it was like giving some kind of hallucinogenics or something, and they started it on their employees, and then they moved up and out. And I think it was a San Francisco residence or something. I don't remember all the details because there's so many of these different things coming out. But but it's this way of trying to split them off, control their minds, and control their behavior, and keep them separate in their conscious state. And then there's also, and I said about the splitting them, and then that also, there's something else just coming into my mind when I was saying that. The splitting them, the mind control. Oh, because another thing that they were working on at these agencies and these farms and stuff was trying to use people for their psychic abilities. That is a big thing. That's a big thing to these people. Trying to use people is like the communication to the other side or something. So yeah, they were doing a lot of stuff. So I think probably Shia is something about that. He got in that program as a kid, because they do take those kids. That was the thing too about Heather O'Rourke, and which supposedly what ended up happening with her, because they made that whole thing about she had some kind of weird intestinal thing, but supposedly it was what she endured with a group of men, and it did her in. And then they had to do a cover story. And her mom has been out trying to say for a long time, something was up. It was trying to tell all the things that weren't right with the story. But she was more underprivileged, more of a poor person. And that's exactly what they want, because they just push you aside. You don't get a voice. You don't get to say anything. You're just a nothing. And and even when they found Heather, her mom was working in a restaurant, was a waitress there, and Stephen went in and saw Heather sitting there, and this cute little blonde, blue-eyed girl sitting at the thing, and he was the one who started saying, hey, I got a part for her, and so pulling them in, and then overrunning the parents. They do this stuff all the time. And so it's like they just take these kids away from their parents, and they use the crap out of Heather, and ended up killing her. And then the mom has been trying to say, and she can't get a platform, she can't get people to listen. I think more people would listen now, because we're all, our ears are open to what has been going on around us. But before, people didn't listen. And so, I don't know, it'll probably resurface more about her again, too. But I think whatever his troubled background. And another thing that's weird too is a lot of these people, like River Phoenix, and so that whole family, because Joaquin, he's made it up there, that they came from a cult. Then there's a few, probably much more than we would think, and I'm sure that there's more to them getting certain DNAs and then creating a person and or a baby, and then having them go into families that take care of them and raise them, and then it's like set up like, well, we're going to use them for in our acting stuff. And some of the people may not know, but I think some of them do. I think some of them do know that they have, like, I don't know, kid, and not just like there's I think there's like different types of clones, and I think that there is it's really reusing the DNA structure, and even the like, so trying to reuse, but like one that was profitable, and then to be like, well, we want more of that, so we're going to replicate. So we're going to try and replicate that person. And then they always, to me, have a stash of consciousness. And so if you were to create one of those people, and then they would carry, because you have to use some type of cell to replicate, then that cell would still carry something of you. And so then they take that cell. So we must really imprint into this. It's so weird because it's such an illusion, but because matter is slower, that we are, there's something, I don't know, there's something weird. The whole thing's so weird. But so, but these fucking allergies, man. So they replicate, and then there's some bit of this person. Then this person over here, because it's such a common one, everybody thinks everybody's got a reptilian in them. So let's just take a reptilian. And so we're going to take this reptilian and let them come in to this person. But I see it kind of like the consciousness kind of sitting back and letting the replication, the replicant, kind of grow in its maturity to see like how much of them comes back into it. But you still have this other being that comes in. There's a lot of shared vehicles, I'd say. I'd say that there's a lot of vehicle, and you have so many people, they can't tell what their thoughts are. They can't tell if their thoughts are coming from them, coming outside of them. So there's a lot of confusion in this world, you know what I mean? So yeah, it would be an easy peasy kind of infiltration, because the people can't tell. And so if they allow the replicant to grow and see how much of them can start showing up, because there's different ones too, because there's ones like, I don't know, Kevin Hart says like he has like 6 or something, and he uses them to go to do things, like, you don't want to do it, just send a clone. And which I had thought originally, when Demi Moore showed up looking like so much younger, and I was thinking, well, it seems like that's what she did. Like, well, there's gonna be a lot of pictures of me. I want to go out looking good. I don't want people to think, like I'm remember me as my aging self. So I'll just sit back here and send out this girl, and she can go, walk around all over the place, all these stages and stuff. Which another weird thing about her is the other day she was there's pictures of her. There's a whole bunch of pictures of her lately too. She's all over the place, and she was at some, it's really weird too. I don't know, because that is weird. So she was at the fashion show thing, whatever the fuck, in France too, I guess. And she showed up wearing this black leather Matrix looking outfit and had cut her hair and carrying this dog and wearing sunglasses. And then she did take the sunglasses off and look, but she looked different. So many people were like, that doesn't look like her. A lot of people were thinking it was like Demi Lovato or something. Like, people were like, that's not Demi Moore. So then they did another one where it was, so there's another footage going around right now. And then I'm telling you, when you see the one of her go into the fashion show, she looks like she can't walk, and a guy comes up and tries to like help her and stuff, and she's got this little dog, and then there's these videos coming out and saying, well, she's so malnourished, she's so sickly and all this stuff, that she has a problem with her balance now. And I didn't think about her husband, with his disorder. And is he still alive, or did he die now? But he has the neurological thing, which when very first started coming out, there was few of us that thought that as well, that maybe got the KURU. And so, which, also Celine, there's a bunch of them. And when they all start suddenly having neurological things, it's like, oh, really? What have you been eating? So, and so Demi would be like, have a problem with their balance now. But so then the newer, well, maybe it's older, because this other footage of her at this, what is it? It's like I think it said something about a party or a celebration. They're always celebrating themselves. Celebration of these shows. And her new show that she's on. So she has this show now where she's this top dog money person, and the other one, I'm not sure what that show's about, but anyway, so it has all these ladies standing next to each other, which I don't know who they all are. Maybe one of them's Sally Carter, maybe it's her show. And so her show she's on. So anyways, that was these three ladies. Then it has Demi. Then Posey Parker, isn't that her name? Posey Parker comes walking up there. Come over and have a picture with us. And they're all like, come on, let's do big pictures. And so she comes over to join in with this picture. But then the video kind of cuts off, so you don't really get to see her height. But these ladies are all really tall to Demi Moore. Demi Moore looks so short. She looked like a tiny next to these people. And so I'm thinking, I swear to God, she was not that tiny. She used to be, I swear, I thought she was like 5'7" or something. And because when she very first, like, I knew who she was when she very first started, because I watched General Hospital, and during the Luke and Laura times and stuff, I watched a lot of soap operas. Like, so I watched the Susan Lucci one. What was that? All My Children. There was 3 that were right in a row. And then the one with Judah the Light, Young and the Restless, I think. So it was All My Children, Young and the Restless, and General Hospital. And this is back when I was a stay-home mom. So I watched those shit. So that must have been when my little girl was taking a nap. She wasn't watching The Mask. I was watching the shows. So, or I probably would say, okay, well, we're going to stop The Mask for a little while, because I got to watch my programs. So anyways, I was watching them, and that's when Demi Moore came on to that show, which back then she was a little bit chubbier, and but she was really cute, I mean, she really, came into the show and created a thing. So it wasn't surprising when she got into bigger movies and stuff, because a lot of people on the soaps don't make it out of the soaps. And so she, like Susan Lucci and Judah Light, they've made it off the soaps, but they are more on Lifetime movies, which I was a big Lifetime movie fan. So, anyways, but Demi Moore made it onto the big screen, and but I swear to God, she was more like 5'7". So I was looking it up. It's like, God, how tall is she? Because she is so puny next to these other ladies. And which I was curious to see Parker Posey next to her. Because Parker Posey is kind of a small frame, shorter person, I think. And so then, and if Demi Moore is this small, then she was extremely obese on General Hospital, man. She is way bigger. And even when she did the movie, the one with in the 80s, it became the Rat Pack thing. No, they called them the Brat Pack. The Rat Pack was Dean Martin and them. The Brat Pack was these ones, and it had a whole bunch of people. I can't remember them all, but she was one of them. And they did a movie. Rob Lowe, what he like the sax player or something. God, what was that movie called? Anyways, but she was heavier in that movie too. And then she got skinnier and skinnier and skinnier. But yeah, now she's so small. It's like, how could your frame be this small? And then compared to the other one, you would have been like 30 pounds, 40 pounds overweight or something. So now, so I went and looked it up and it said she's 5'5". You know, I'm thinking, man, I swear to God, it used to be that she's 5'7". Another thing that seems like it keeps changing all the time is their ages. It's like they're constantly, especially when some of these ones are your age. And then all of a sudden it's like, no, they're 59. No, they're this. No, they're that. No, they're this size. They're that size. It's like, I don't know what you guys are doing over here. This is like the shell game. Guess which one? Guess which one? It's like, this is weird. And then, and they obviously are changing stuff because that weird thing about Jim Carrey with his daughter, Jane. And then them saying now, like, if you go on her thing and it no longer, like her relatives or whatever, to put the one uncle, that is so strange to me. And not even acknowledge the sisters. Because Jim was one brother and two sisters. And he's the youngest. And Rita, I think the older sister's the one that's still alive. I don't remember their birth order. But his brother died of, I think it was like brain cancer. And then Rita died of, I think she had some kind of cancer too. And she died just a few years back. And so now on Jane's thing about her relatives, it doesn't have them. It has some uncle. And then, and now it says she's remarried and has 2 more kids, but I still cannot get over, like, he did so many interviews during Sonic at this time that she would have been getting remarried and having kids, and he didn't mention it all. Oh yeah, I've got, because he talks about Jackson, his other grandkid, all the time. He even took him to Sonic, to the thing, so he wouldn't bring any of the other people. And why is the only pictures of Jane and her husband, the first husband, from 25 years? Well, no, how old is this kid? This kid's supposed to be 14, which I thought it was more like 12, but anyways, time goes by. But if he is, so her husband from 15 years ago, that's the only picture you can find, and she's remarried and has 2 more kids. It's like, I don't know. It's like they're just changing people's stuff right in front of us. It's just weird. It's like very creepy. But this is, you know, kind of been like how we are where we are. Because there's so many people. I saw another video this morning talking about that we are the, well, they said we are the real, there is, and that that we have, like, when you go down the Mississippi, which would be the Nile, and there are all the branches that come out, which is the 9 more rivers or something. It's all, like, I don't know all the Bible stuff, but but I did, when I had looked up about when they did the derailment in Ohio, when I looked at some of those cities, like, why we have all these cities that are named this? Like, that is weird. Jerusalem and like all these named places. And it's like, that is so weird. And so this girl who was doing this video this morning, she was talking about the liberation that's happening. And she was saying, don't forget that they said that the real would be last. And she said, and we are the real, not, and the real was created in 1948 or something. And so the, and then she starts going through, you know, the cities and the names and all this stuff. And there is so much weird stuff about the Grand Canyon. And supposedly there's, you know, people living down in there, old ancient people. Which I know there's ancient people living in the mountains and stuff like that. And a giant, somebody got footage the other day saying that this is a giant. He came out of the forest. He was fucking huge. And people go in and try and figure out if they're AI and stuff. But I know the giants are real. So people get all sorts of footage of all sorts of different beings and stuff. There's Mothman, like, there's all sorts of. There's people were driving down the highway the other day, and this weird creature thing was walking down the highway, and the daughter was in the back seat, and she got a picture of it, and then it came running over to their car, and it looked like, it was so weird looking. I don't even know how to explain it. It looked like if somebody had a tattered long coat on. It's real big, a tattered long coat that was all white, and then everything on them was white. They said even you couldn't even make out any facial features or anything. And then with two little tiny skinny legs, because it looks like more things hanging, like where you'd think, like, is that 4 legs? So that's why I'm like, is it a tattered coat? I don't even know what the hell it is. So there's all sorts of beings and things out there, you know. That's the world that we live in, that we are just, you know, waking up to, because our minds are going to wrap around it, I guess. Before, we didn't meet the vibration to see what was out there. And so the skipping around, let me think where I was. So those beings, beings being seen all over the place. All sorts of weird stuff going on, man. With different, like, supernatural things happening for people. And, but, what was I saying a second ago about the people? Creatures of the night. So, seeing the giants, being in the forest, the ancient beings, which is ancient beings like in the Appalachians, they're all over the place. The Grand Canyon. Oh, this place. Oh, well, okay, the liberation. Okay, so, and she was going through all the places that have been liberated. And it all is a part of the NG, the Nisarga thing. So it's all a part of the freedom of the humans. And so if our place, the Americas as we know it, is last, which I would say too, I mean, it seems kind of like Canada is a part. Like, it seems more North America, but Mexico is already being, they're in the process of their liberation. Like, we've got all these different places that are being, but we have ours, you know, it's going to have to happen. And so, and who knows, like, what's going to happen. If it's going to be some kind of big drama. I mean, they keep pushing on the WW3 and the NUKE and all that stuff. And so they can have a big drama that's going to occur. You know, some kind of a blast somewhere, and then tell us it's one thing, because that's all they do is lie. And man, if you watch any of that stuff with Hillary, god dang, man, yeah, and it's hard to not be like, God, what a liar. But she's really gone, the real one. But still, this lady's lying out through her teeth, and everything that they say, and she gets mad about it too. Like how stupid people are and the conspiracy theorists and all that stuff. It's like, lady, you are the biggest liar. And so if it's all depositions, all to get you on record. So she's just sitting there purging herself. So now I saw footage of the soldiers helping this very frail looking man coming down. And he is supposedly the person who was the leader in, you know, the Ben and the Gaza, and, you know, some big thing that she is a part of. So they're going to start wheeling in people who are going to prove that she is all perjured and stuff. So I don't know if they're going to make a big show about her, you know, her exit the game. So I don't know what's going to be, but yeah, the amount of lies that we're being experiencing right now is over the top, man. Just liars, liars, liars everywhere, and the liars are going to be lying. That's what they do. And then even, you know, I don't know. There's just so much to this show right now, so much going on, and who knows what it is going to be. That's going to be our big episode of liberation or whatever. I know that we all need to come together. We all need to get our heads in straight. And there is so much division even over, you know, Jim Carrey, if he's had plastic surgery or not. Like, the people who believe he's had plastic surgery think the rest of us are all a bunch of idiots. It's just the same thing in all this stuff. You got these people who, you know, you got the people in the RAN out celebrating, and then you got people over here who are protesting and are so upset and saying these people are being killed and stuff. And which I think that those numbers could be being fudged anyways, because they're just creating a lot of drama. But that but I mean, there's going to be people who are going to be, you know, there's going to be loss of life through all this stuff. But it really is, you don't really lose. You just come out of this situation. You leave this game. You don't stay in this same reality. So it's not really like you're going to die or something. Plus, the people who do leave, that I'm sure they're just staying with their families, you know, guiding them through the rest of the game, and until that they are back together, rejoin. So, and then if you think about them being in this vibration where you can't see them and they're trying to communicate with you, and you just have all these voices in your head and you can't tell who's who and what's what. And so they're trying to communicate with you, and they're going here and we're going through this waveform. But as we enter into this waveform, we reconcile, we reunite back with the people who are in this wave. But we are still in it. Well, the one we're in too is like it's like okay, I don't know how you explain that. It's like okay, so you know, like when you're driving, if you've done any road trips, which I have, so that would be my thing to explain. So when you're driving and your radio station is tuned in to a station, and then as you're driving, it loses that parameter, so it gets off from this tower and it starts picking up on this tower and this tower and this tower. So you start suddenly having a whole, like, several voices, several different things happening as it's kind of going in and out. And this one will kind of go out, and then this one's kind of coming in. It's like this big merging kind of happening. And then at some point, sometimes they all go off. You have to change the station to find a station. But it will go through this thing where they're all coming in, and it will sound real crazy. That's kind of like what we have going on right now. We have all these different frequencies bouncing off of each other right now, and we are all the poles of frequency. All of us are the grid system. So the grid system of all the poles of frequency is caught a lot of chaos. And so it's kind of like, you know, the waveform was really slow, because that's what it is when you are creating matter. So the vibration was really slow, which is a dark matter. So the dark, and it's of the dark. I don't know, it's of the lower vibration. That's where bad things can happen, and that's where we're at. So to me, just call it hell. So we're in hell, and so we're in this, but we come here of our own free will. We come here, we just put on a little spacesuit and say, hey, let's go see what's up here. And so we come into this world through an admittance of self, of through occupied kind of resilience. I don't even know. Like those. So we come through, because it's weird, because the body is an illusion, but we can experience it. We can experience things through this illusion, but but it's not as real as what we want to put the significance of it. That's the thing. So in this waveform, though, where things are slower and gives more of a reality appearance, like, then we but as it starts to speed up, because even in this, though, we're still going to be in this reality appearance, only it's going to be a lot more sparkly and beautiful and happy and stuff, because we are creators. It's like when you give us the wave, the different vibration, we're going to create, but it's a higher vibration, and so it's closer to the light, which is going to be a more happy place. And so in the lower states, it's heavier and dense, and there, in the dense heaviness, exists the dark energy, and they can't move out of and go into the light. They are more, that's why we enter into their space. And so then, apparently it takes some work to get out of it once you get in it. And so you go through a lot of different experiences in order to pull free. But really, you're not just pulling free, you're learning through all the different experiences. You're in the sense of discovery of self through the different experiences. But then when it comes down to, wanting to ascend out, to get the hell out, then it's all of a sudden, wait a minute, I've got some weight on here. How do I get rid of this? How do I get rid of that? I'm kind of attached here. And so that's where you have to start doing the work to detach from this reality, and put it into perspective of what it is and where you're at. And so, but once we start going up, and so it's kind of like the certain vibratory beings, so certain people who are of a different vibration are like pulling free from this vibration, which is also creating the chaos of the so much stuff. So yeah, because it's like the ones pulling free, and then the ones that are like stuck more. To me, it looks like, ones that are like stuck on like shallow superficial, like plastic surgery, and not questioning things, and shut up everybody, don't question anything. That seems like the lower vibration to me. The ones that are like, wait a minute, this doesn't seem right, no, I'm gonna trust my gut, I don't think this is right, something doesn't feel right to me. And getting more tuned into that part of you, which we have every opportunity to do that right now, that's the high, raising your vibration. And so it's the tuning into self, in your own, how do you perceive this experience? What is it you're picking up on? And so many people hide that. And you can see around us how we are bullied into submission. And some people are more what is that called? More susceptible to bullying, more susceptible to being more susceptible to not wanting to be called a conspiracy theory, crazy person and stuff. So they're more like, well, I don't want to be called, I want everybody to like me, I want everybody to think I'm not crazy and stuff. So they're not comfortable in their own crazy. They're not comfortable just being, tuning into, what do you really feel, what do you think, what do you see? And they are more comfortable with, well, everybody else says this, so it must be that. And it's like, well, what do you think? What do you feel? What do you feel through all this? What do you think through all this? Because what you are doing is creating yourself. You're creating a separation from the dark matter. And the dark matter is it kind of is like I see it like a tar, like the blob, and it consumes, and then all these people are like stuck in this bubble of this tar and being held on, and so you're trying to break free from that. You're trying to self-identify because they all just become this blob of like you need our acceptance. You need to be the way we want you to be. You can't think outside the box. We are the control mechanism, which is created because that's not the fellers that rock or the child of rock. These are the rest of us. These are the people who conform, would rather conform and be accepted. And so those ones, the Karens out there, like, do what I say. And then the ones who are like, wait a minute, it doesn't feel right to me, I'm not going to do that. Then the people who don't want to accept you being an individual. So you have the group that is like, no, be like us, we're all the same. Like they become like this blob where you are trying to pull yourself free from it and get out of it to find the uniqueness of self and the acceptance of yourself, and to be able to understand that you are learning to trust your own senses, learning to see through your own eyes, and learning to feel through your own heart center, your own feelings, your own self. It's very independent. And so we are being hid and bombarded with so much information and so much alternate control mechanism over here, to hold you back. And like I'm saying, man, that one comment that I said, oh, Jim Carrey wouldn't get plastic surgery. Oh my God, I cannot believe the trigger. I'm still getting messages today. Is how much people want to create you to think like them and to conform the way that they think. And how dare you try and say anything that doesn't go along with their narrative. And so it's but at this period of time, this is what the ascension is all about, is the discovery of self, the discovery of independence, the learning who you are and what you are, and being able to be comfortable with yourself and be able to be pulling free from the masses, because the mass is like a blob, like full of tar, trying to hold you into submission. And that's the part that, is going to hold people back. But as people continue to pull free and pull themselves into independent thinking, then they create a wave. They create an interference in the static. And so that's what we have so much chaotic energy right now, because there's so much pulling free. And right now, it's almost like people don't even know what they're pulling free to. Like, we still have a lot to come. There's going to still be a huge awakening, a huge wave of awakening. And I don't know if it's because so many people, as they awaken, they just become so focused on the government's bad, these bad people are out here. But it's so much bigger than that, because it has so much to do with the spiritual world. The spirit, like, you are the real truth that we're going to come into is, you're a spirit. You're a soul, and you come to this place to experience, and it's going to be, a whole nother level of what you're going to awaken to. Like, this is just like the what is that? The first course. Like, we aren't even to the main course at this point, because the main course is going to become, which it probably will be, some kind of other beings. I don't know what it's going to take, for people to start really wrapping their heads around, like, you're in a spiritual battle, you're in a spiritual war, and they want to keep you stupid and silent. And so, and then the whole structure is for you to find yourself, because even if you were somebody who is in a prison, can they imprison you? Even if they put you in prison, that's a different states of development, different states of consciousness. Because some people, it doesn't matter where you put them. You cannot what is that? You still can't imprison their minds. You can't lock them down. They still have the ability to find happiness, find peace, find joy wherever they are, and to be able to exit the premises. You can still take yourself out of here. You don't have to sit here and just be like, oh, I'm in this room, I'm just stuck here, I'm just stuck here, I'm just in this room and I'm stuck. No, you can leave anytime you want to leave. And you can find joy in any experience, so it's everything is about the learning, learning how to control yourself, control your consciousness. And so there's so many people right now who are working so much on all the abilities, like the telekinesis. And so I see people moving things with just the energy of your hand, which there's the energy comes from here, like how they did with Spider-Man, but it takes your mind to focus to push the energy down through and use the energy to push something. So you have to really focus the energy rather than use your hand. So, and I think, some of these people who are all becoming really good at things, they'll teach other people how to do it and stuff. So there's lots of things that we will begin to learn more about, our abilities. And, it's like we're getting, it's like training wheels keeps coming to my mind, but I don't know if we're getting them off or putting them on. Like we're going to start training in to learn how to do a lot of stuff. And so we'll become it's like a new world. So we'll be learning new things, but it's going to be learning a lot of things, like good things about us, good things about the world. It's going to be a more positive experience that some people are headed into. Some people are stuck in the blob. They're going to that blob will just go somewhere else, and they'll go through more experiences so that they can eventually one day pull free from the blob. And so, but those of us who are pulling free from the blob, that we are also a part of the tension and the chaos. And no matter how many people want to pull you back into surrender and just compliancy, then you got to keep pulling yourself out. And I think it gives you a headache too, man. It's exhausting. So the energy is really intense right now. It is very exhausting. I mean, it all is going, but the storyline about the WW3, about all that stuff, it's just a part of the storyline. It's just the way to try and get us to pull free, to get us to start thinking outside the box, to start thinking bigger and better. And at one level, in the micro macro, it is the battle between the good and evil in the physical. So it's like giving a name and a place to certain ideals. And so anyways, but we're like in that battle, but we are heading for liberation. And who knows how it's all going to go down. There's so much speculation, so many people speculating over what's going to happen next. And so, it's a lot of just wait and see. This morning, a big message that I got was, see if I can remember the exact words, because it was very much about just surrender. Quit trying to control things. Just sit back and let the magic happen. Let things occur. Stop trying to focus on it and what's going to happen next and how's it going to happen and stuff. Just let it happen and let the magic roll out, and quit trying to, because you can't control it. And it's going to play out the way it's going to play out. And it is a big part of our emotional maturity, is to allow things to be and to stay comfortable even when things are uncomfortable. Because, just like if you were in prison, are you just going to be imprisoned because they put you in prison, or are you going to free yourself? And everything is about freeing yourself. And, it's the freedom of self, the freedom of mind. And that's this whole a state of independence that we're moving into. It's the freedom. It's like we're being pushed towards freeing ourselves. And so anyways, that's the way I see it. And the big part of throughout the whole thing is definitely, as you're pulling yourself free from the blob, you're going to feel a lot of things. People are going to be judging you and telling you you're crazy and what's wrong with you. Get back here. We're all right here. And don't you want us to like you? It's like, well, I think I need to work on liking myself. That's what I really need to work on. And so that's where you got to keep pulling free. And it is steps, man. There's steps in it, because you are, you got to think about, like, you're going to go through rejection. You're going to go through issues with not feeling accepted. And you're going to go through issues of being isolated and lonely and all these different things. And those things are all to assist you in the recognition of self, to be able to figure yourself out and understand yourself, and to heal your old wounds that you carry from past lives, because that's a big part of what holds you back. That's a part of the tar. That's a part of the thing that keeps pulling you back and pulling you back. And so you got to work through your pain and your suffering and your identity crisis and pull free into the self, which it kind of, when I just said identity crisis, the new Jim thing popped into my mind. Like, whatever is going on with this whole Jim Carrey thing, it's bigger. It's much bigger. I say it is a bigger thing than what is. It's not just, some guy at an awards show. There's something bigger, a bigger thing to get us to see, to talk about. And it's just, this whole thing about identity. And so, anyways, but that's what you want to really do, is focus on you, identifying yourself, figuring yourself out. And a big part of it is learning how to love yourself, because you will go through some periods, you'll go through some days where you're like not liking yourself, you'll be hard on yourself, and you'll be resenting yourself, and you'll be mad at yourself, and you'll feel lonely and sad and bad. And so the whole process is just learning how to love yourself, learning how to let go, learning how to forgive yourself, learning how to be present, learning how to keep check on your emotions, not let your emotions control you, but you figuring out how to control them. And it takes a lot of letting go of things. It's just Ruthie and Stella have decided they're ready to play. So anyways, but learn how to love yourself, learn how to love everybody else, and learning how to have the day you want to have, learning how to maneuver through all of this chaos right now, and keep self-identifying, keep pulling yourself free from the blob. This blob's trying to hold you down. So, and we'll see what the blob has to offer us today, because I'm sure it's not giving up easily. So there'll be more for us to process today, more things occurring. So anyways, we'll see what happens today, and then we'll talk about it tomorrow. So talk to you later. Bye.